All right, next up, ranked too high. You know who you got, Rick?
I do.
Who you got?
Jalen Waddle.
At number 7 currently.
Yeah, I didn't think he was a top 10. And the reason, not that he's not an explosive playmaker, but he's a number 2 behind Tyreek Hill. So he has a partner with him. And my biggest concern is the durability part. That even though he's small, he does not stay on the field because of durability concerns. So when I looked at this, if you're in the top 10, you're lining up for 17 weeks, in my opinion, and you're playing at a high level.
I think he was on the field. He was healthy this year. I think last year he was a little banged up. Year before last, I mean.
Yeah, but he's banged up this year. Every year he's banged up.
That's true. He does come out. Yep.
Yeah. So I would just say that durability was more of a concern with me to put him in the top 10.
Yeah, no, I get that. And you mentioned you'd rather have Devonta Smith, his former teammate at Alabama.
Yeah, because again, he's a number 2. He's got AJ Brown, but he does not miss games. For a small guy, he's out there and performs week in and week out. So I would have had Devonta Smith ahead of him.
Did you have huge concerns about Devonta Smith's size because he was so?
Everybody did. Yeah, everybody's going to talk about it, you know. But he's end up being an exception to the rule with his size. But he didn't miss any time. There's a history there. Never missed any time in Alabama either.
Yeah. And he's a little taller than Jalen Waddle. He may not be thicker. Jalen's pretty small.
No. Yeah, but Jalen may be a little thicker. But Devontae's like 165, 170 maybe in the 170s.
Yeah, those are the good old days. I'll tell you that. All right. Next up, ranked too high for me. And this is going to feel
Did you do like 4 again and break the rules?
No, I just did 1 on this one. And I love this player, and he's a really good player. But I thought he had a better 2022 than 2023. And in 2022, he was ranked 7th. In this round that Cody Benjamin put out, he's ranked 5th. Sauce Gardner.
Yes.
A little too high. Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, again, I love Sauce Gardner. He's a cornerback 1. He's as close as you can get to shutdown corner in today's NFL, so on and so forth. But I thought he wasn't quite as effective as he was his rookie season. And somehow he went up 2 spots in the rankings. I'm not faulting Cody Benjamin. This is an incredibly tough job to do, but I would have put him down a little lower. And I mentioned earlier, someone like CeeDee Lamb, even if he moves up 1 spot from 5 to 6, I think he had a better season CeeDee did than Sauce Gardner for just looking at the overall way they played. All right, you're not going to push back on that one, huh?
No.
Love it. All right, this is interesting. Ranked just right. Last year's winner in 2022, the 2022 season, Justin Jefferson, back-to-back winner. You're okay with him being number 1, even though he played just 40% of the time?
Yeah, and like I said, for him to produce the way he produced after he missed all that time, and to me, how he elevated that offense by himself without T.J. Hockenson when he got hurt, and with the quarterback carousel, he still performed the way he did, and took advantage of the opportunities. Now, it'd have been interesting if Kirk had stayed completely healthy and Justin had, what type of, I would have predicted 2,000 out of him. So I'm going to give him credit where credit is due, and him staying at the same level when he came back from that hamstring, even with the rotation at the quarterback that Minnesota had last year.
All right, so here's the question. Without Kirk Cousins, I think Kirk Cousins was Justin Jefferson's quarterback every single year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sam Darnold / J.J. McCarthy / whomever else plays quarterback. So J.J. has gone for 1,400 yards, 1,600 yards, 1,800 yards, and 1,000 last year when he only played in 10 games. 1,300 yards over under. Let's break out the old dollar bet thing here, Harry. Yeah, Harry, love it. 1,450, more or less for JJ. I'll take the other side.
What's the other side?
Well, whatever you take for the dollar bet, I'll just go. If you say he goes higher, I'll say he goes lower, vice versa. So 1,350 yards for JJ with Sam Darnold and company throwing the football.
I'm going to say without Kirk Cousins, it's going to be lower.
Yeah, I think I went too high with 1350. All right, write that down, Harry. I'll take over 1350. If he doesn't, we won't make any caveats about injuries or nothing. We'll just assume he stays healthy. And oh boy, that's heavy lifting 1350. He did that. He did that the first 3 years. He got that, and sometimes easily with Kirk Cousins. But there's a huge drop off between Kirk Cousins and not Kirk Cousins. So if Kevin O'Connell can work his magic with Sam Darnold, great for JJ. If not, bad for my pocketbook. All right. Love that graphic, Harry. Great job. All right. So you have him ranked just right, Justin Jefferson. I broke the rules on this one.
Oh, God.
Out at 9. I feel like that's
You did 9?
No, CJ Stroud at 9. I think that's ranked just right. He could be higher. He was a top 5 quarterback last year, but I want to see how year 2 goes. I don't expect there to be a backslide, but just in the name of patience. So CJ Stroud at 9. He was the first quarterback on this list. Yep, he was, which is crazy. Wow. And then he was followed immediately by Brock Purdy and Jordan Love. So I think that part is all right. And the other one I mentioned, and I think this guy, another guy who came, Kyle Hamilton at 14. He's quietly become one of the best safeties in the NFL. You agree with that?
Yes, because of the way they use him.
Yes.
And Mike McDonald, like I said, I got an opportunity to sit with him this offseason, and a brilliant defensive mind, and brilliant at taking a guy like Kyle Hamilton and utilizing what he does best, putting him in situations where he's going to excel. And when you can get a coach that recognizes the unique traits that Hamilton has and implement them into your scheme, very good.
Because the issue with Kyle is that he ran in the 4.7, something.
Yeah, but I looked at that, and when you watched that 40 time, he came down the chute and he went to the left and to the right. He probably ran 42 yards. Because if you look at the end zone angle and you want to see if those guys run straight down the line,
right?
And he went here, then here, then got back on track. So to me, it was like running 42 yards.
And he did run better at his pro day. Yeah. But the problem, fair or not, once you see that number, it's hard to erase it from your mind.
Unless you go and dig on why it's different what you see on tape than that he ran. And then when I went back and looked at it and saw him kind of stumble out of the block a little bit and they didn't pull him up, and then him weaving coming out of his stance, that was the reason why he ran a slower time, not because he's not fast.
Yeah, and again, sort of the Brian Branch syndrome. He played much faster than certainly 4.7. I think it was that Florida State game where his sideline-to-sideline ability.
I was at that game.
Okay, so he had 2 interceptions in that game, I think. At least one big one on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. So you see that and you go, okay, well, which one of these am I not going to believe? And I think you lean to
that was a game that I got kicked out off the sideline pregame.
Were you trying to your hallmark moment? You trying to get in on the shot?
No, we were all like, we're not supposed to be, or there was some kind of rule that Florida State had put in, and there was like, I remember Brandon Beaner, about 4 or 5 GMs there for that Florida State Notre Dame game, because it was the opener. I believe it went into overtime. It was a great game. So we went down to get body types, and the security, we heard that we were okay to go down there. The security didn't get it, so they're trying to round up all the guys, the scouts, try to kick them out. And I saw them starting to round up guys. So I went to the other sideline.
Yep, that sounds right.
And then I seen security guys looking around. Then there was a big group of recruits in the end zone. And so I went down there and kind of stood in the middle of all the recruits. And then
like you're one of the fathers?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden 4 of them came right on top of me and told me that I had to leave. My fault. I didn't know.
Look, Rick is producer here, if you don't know, one of the most honest and high integrity people you'll know, except when it comes to getting into places to watch football players. He will do anything.
Got a job to do.
He's got a job to do. They got you, though. They got you. Now your face is on the do not serve this guy inside the stadium. Yeah, but that game was a huge game for Kyle Hamilton to start his final year at Notre Dame. And the end of the story is that the Ravens got a bargain on a player in the middle of the first round that could have been a top 10 pick for sure.